Sup y'all, I gave up on smoking CBD. Even though it was nice, it was harmless. One of my friends he said to me like while we were smoking, like what is it that we are doing? Why is it that this is even this is an addiction? Because we are talking about like these substances, and we're talking about healing, inner work, and all those kind of things. So, and then it just struck me like, well, yeah, okay, he's right, because we're still smoking. So this is like, it's not an addiction, but it's like every time we meet, we have to smoke CBD, and it's like, what? Like, why are we doing it? And he was right, that this CBD is a thing that you can let go of. And also, like, it's tobacco, it's not that healing, and I had to go into myself. It was this awareness, I have to be aware. And if it wasn't for this awareness, I would probably still be smoking it, and probably still being, driven by it, and let it influence me, because I could create my happiness without it. And that is what I realized, that hey, I don't need these substances, I can still be happy. Why is it that I'm even smoking? And then I figure out that this CBD was just an escape away from yourself, away from God. That was the core reason. So when I realized that, I just stopped it. Another thing that also kind of motivated me was that every time I was smoking it, I was with my friends, and I couldn't be aware, I couldn't be present. So every time they had a talk about something, every time they were like, hey, what should we eat? What should we do? Like, to even talking about business ideas, and even like when they're like challenging, you're like challenging each other, and then I was just in the background. I couldn't really express myself. I couldn't say anything. So that was another reason that I realized, because all these other times, all these other years, I've been smoking it. I couldn't realize it because I was so traumatized. I was so much in my trauma that I couldn't say stop. I couldn't like, hey, this is actually not good for me. And then one day it was too much, and the boys, they were like challenging me a lot, and I was going home, and I was like, what is happening? What is all this? And also my urges to all these other things, they also increased. For example, like my urge for pornography. Even though I haven't really seen pornography for years now, it came up, and then I could see, okay, this is harmful, this is really, really not good. So I was like, okay. And then I did some inner work, I released, and then I figured out, okay, I have to stop it. I have to stop this stuff. CBD, yeah, maybe it helps people, but I am at that level where I don't need this thing. I'm still happy, I'm still content. I still know what I want to do, and most of all, I want to be aware. I want to be present, and this thing was stopping me. This thing was not adding in to my beliefs. They were not adding into my vision. And I was not depressed, like I cleaned a lot of my depression, a lot of my previous bad state. So I was like, hey, this is really not helping, And then one day to the other day, I just caught it, and it felt amazing. And then I love my friends, so they were like, how could you cut it like that? It's crazy that how can I say that you're so programmed. You're programmed in a way that you can just cut it. They couldn't. So yeah, and then I met up with them, and then they were like smoking it again, and then I'm like, do you know what? I don't need to cut them off, right? It's not like they're doing something bad. But for me, I was like, do you know what? I don't need it. And it was still a bit of a challenge, but then I stayed true to myself, and I also did a little bit of future pacing, like, okay, how would I feel if I didn't do it? How would I feel if I just kept this state of not smoking, and I feel amazing. And then I came home and I felt amazing. I felt like, yes, I have a strong psyche. I'm very strong. I'm very disciplined. And I stay true to myself and true to the higher self. And this is the other part. You stay true to your higher self, because your higher self always wants the best for you. You always try to. It doesn't try, but like speaks to you constantly. You just have to tap in. And it's an art to be able to listen to it, be able to listen, tap into it and listen to what is it that is saying and why, you know. And for me, there's always said to me like, hey, don't smoke, it's not good, especially when there's tobacco involved. But I couldn't because of all the trauma made me not realize it until now. So the point of this video is to listen, like tap in, release, and then listen to the higher voice, listen to the higher self, you know. And you can actually get rid of the things that doesn't really reinforce your vision, reinforcing your dreams, really adding into your life, like I did. Now I really don't see myself smoking. I really don't see myself smoking anymore. But, you know, the universe is always gonna test you, you know. So, and for every time you pass the test, every time you feel better about yourself. So, let's go. You can do it. I trust you. Let's go.